Tom, thank you so much for taking some time to speak with us. I know you are still there in Parliament. Stay safe. We'll talk to you a little bit later. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We want to bring in Daily Mail reporter Quentin. He's outside of Parliament, and he joins us by the phone. All right, Quentin, so tell us what you saw or what you've seen and what you can report.
I'm actually inside the building, and I have an office just below a landmark that your viewers will know, Big Ben. And below that is an area of grass, and there's an area where cars come in and out of the parliamentary estate. And what happened was I saw a thick-set man wearing black clothes run through the gates where cars come in, and he then started striking a policeman who was on the ground. Policeman was wearing a yellow jacket. The man in black seemed to be either stabbing him or striking him in some way or other. And then this attacker then ran towards an entrance where which our parliamentarians use, a doorway. And he got about 15 yards, I guess, before two plainclothes officers with guns shouted at him, warned him, and then about three shots, and the attacker fell. And I don't think he'll be, I'm not sure if he was killed, but he was surrounded by police very quickly. And unfortunately, someone else was on the ground, and I think that was the policeman who had been attacked by the attacker. And both those people have been attended to by medical orderlies since then.
What about the nature of security here? Has it been stepped up over the past few years?
Security has been stepped up. We had a lot of problems with Irish terrorism in the 1980s and 1990s, and that was a cause for increased security. And then we've had, of course, the threat of different sorts of terrorism since then. So, yes, over the years, security has been incredibly made tighter. But there is still an ideal in Britain of police not being armed. And the policemen on the gates did not seem to have guns today. And as a result, I fear one of them may have been killed.
Quentin, let's just update our viewers. We can now report that President Trump is currently being briefed on the situation developing right now in London, and we will await further updates from the White House and our team of reporters that cover the White House. But going back to the situation here so our viewers understand, there was a response by the Metropolitan Police in London of a weapons incident, some type of weapons incident. There appears to be a car, which you can see in the middle of your screen there, and then a man, according to several eyewitnesses, ran from that car into Parliament and appeared to strike a police officer before he was then surrounded by other police officers who were armed. And Quentin, the question that we asked earlier, and this is something that I think it's important for people to know, which is that in the UK, generally police officers are not armed, but within Parliament there are some police officers who carry weapons. Did you hear shots? Was the assailant, the person who stabbed or struck that police officer, was he shot or was he just tackled? How did that happen?
The attacker was shot about 2 or 3 times after what sounded like a shouted warning. I couldn't hear precisely what was said, but these two armed officers, they adopted the shooting stance, one leg in front of the other. They shouted some words at this man who was running towards them. He didn't stop, and he was shot as a result. And it's not quite fair to say that very few police are armed. An increasing number of British police are now armed, but there is still an ideal that the policeman in the streets, your normal copper, so to speak, does not wear weapons.
And prior to the man running into Parliament, we had heard that there were loud bangs that were heard. Did you hear those loud bangs?
Yes. Yeah, I heard those, and then one heard members of the public who were on the sidewalk, as you'd call it. They were running away, and some of them screaming and shouting. But I didn't see any incident with the car. From where I am, which is a window just overlooking this area where it was all happening, we just heard a bang, which sounded like a car smash.
Quentin, we know it's close to about 3:30 p.m. In local time there. How long ago did this happen? And
I think it was around. 40 minutes ago. I can't be sure. I wasn't taking notes. I was getting on my work, and suddenly I was distracted by this. So, one doesn't always take a precise note of it. But it was about 40 minutes, 45 minutes ago. So that would have been British time, about 2:45.
Okay, Quentin, we're going to let you go. Quentin Letts, thank you so much for talking to us.
Bye.
Stay safe, please, sir.